Culinary Quick Start program. Chef Blake Stein, Chef Marcus Ang. What's up?
What's up, guys?
What's up, guys?
How are ya?
How's it
How you
going?
doing?
Good to see you.
What do we got?
Oh, we got the fixins for some pho. I got a microphone real quick.
So yeah, if you guys don't know what pho is, it's like it's a soup noodle dish from Vietnam, made by Chinese cooks back in the day, and they've also adopted a lot of like some French style like stock making techniques and stuff when they're making their broth. So you might be more familiar with like the beef style pho. That's going to be most common towards the north in like Hanoi, but the farther south you go to like Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon. The chicken pho is actually going to become more common as you go further south.
Why is that?
Chickens just thrive in a warmer environment, and cows really don't.
Yeah.
So where it's a little cooler in the north, you have more cows. It's further south, it's going to be more chicken, or like seafood.
Cool.
It's also very inexpensive. When I was in Vietnam, I think about $2 a bowl.
Is that right?
$2 a bowl.
Fill you up for the day.
For the day, and
Yeah.
it is a breakfast food.
Yep. Tell me about this.
I like to treat it like an all-day food.
Yeah, it's like an all day. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the vendors are
Well, pho's
always available.
It's pretty popular here in Colorado. I mean, I see a lot of it, and I know I eat a ton of it.
I get it
Yeah.
a couple times a month at
Yeah,
least.
it's delicious.
It is.
Tell me about the noodle.
So the noodle's just going to be like a rice vermicelli here. And what we're going to do is we're really just going to soak these, and it's going to expand. This is a pretty fine one, so we'll see what this one looks like.
It's just
But yeah, this is just rice
Yep.
and water, extruded and
yeah.
dried out. So
sweet. And we got all these beautiful herbs here. So we have
yeah,
cilantro,
Thai basil.
Thai basils. That's the what's called opal basil, right? Purple. Yeah.
This is gonna be like culantro.
Yeah. So I just want to make a comment about this, right? Because I'm Puerto Rican, and this is like the main herb in sofrito for Puerto Ricans. So culantro has been a part of my history for
Awesome.
47 years, and you don't see a lot of it in
No,
Colorado.
Yeah, you don't see a
Yeah.
ton of it outside of the
And it's-
kind of Asian shopping
Mind if I open
centers.
this?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, and it's a really cool, and I want people to see it because it's very fragrant, and and it is the cilantro family. But you see how long that is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then it's
So,
got like these
cool.
kind of saw-like ridges along
Right.
the leaf there too. But
Yeah. Really fragrant, beautiful, and you got some green onions.
yep, we'll just toss that up.
Awesome.
Throw it all in there.
Well, great. Well, while you get cooking
then-
on that, and Blake,
Yes, sir.
we had one of your kids stage with us on Friday. Did well.
How'd it go? Eli,
Yeah.
right?
No, he goes next week. So we actually ended up bringing two kids in.
Oh, okay.
One must have just heard through the grapevine and showed up. That's why I thought
That's a wonderful
and,
thing.
Yeah. So one kid did well, and I think Eli goes on Wednesday.
Outstanding.
So yeah, they did well.
Cool.
So,
Thank you very
yeah,
much,
That's really
man.
cool. They're getting some good training. Tell us about the program.
So we're doing 3 weeks virtual with the option of having 2 students in the classroom with us each night.
Okay.
The
Does that
reason-
change with the new restrictions?
Well,
Or the new-
I think that as
we
soon
went
as we can have more students in, we absolutely will.
Okay.
It just depends.
Because we just
on-
went to 50% in restaurants. I don't
Okay.
know if how that changes for a program like yours.
I sure don't know at this point,
Yeah.
but I think it'd be really, really nice to have more students in because the hands-on experience is unlike any other. You know, I think that you can learn a whole lot more from actually touching food and cooking it and the science behind all these things.
What's the program?
So it's Culinary Quick Start. We do 3 weeks of, a lot of intense exposure to food, things that you'd want a cook to know before they came into your restaurant, say, for the first time. You know, so maybe a lot of people that are coming back to restaurants from being a little bit displaced from COVID, or it's a lot of people who are changing careers, or people who just have an interest in cooking food professionally. So,
Okay.
yeah, we try to show them as much as we can within a 3 week period and just kind of get them some great jobs right after that.
Yeah, and basic knife skills and things like
Knife
that
skills,
as well,
we're
right?
real heavy on
Yeah.
the knife skills, trying to get these guys real comfortable with the way that you're supposed to handle a knife inside of a kitchen, to be able to prep and cut things very accurately without injuring themselves.
Yeah. So I asked Carrie Baird from Top Chef and obviously Bardot. A lot of kids get intimidated. They don't want to go and, oh my God, I could never work for Carrie Baird. I could never work for Dave. He's been on Food Network or whatever, right? And Carrie's like, she was just really outlining, look, the passion is what's most important. If you have basic skills and you have passion and know-how, do you guys echo that sentiment? I know you've worked in some great kitchens.
Yeah. Well, what I think is that we can't teach people to care.
Yeah.
And as long as you're passionate about taking care of other people, which is ultimately what we do as hospitality professionals, then the skills will come later.
Tell me about your background, because I don't really know a ton about. I know, were you at Acorn at one point?
Yep.
Okay.
I helped open up Acorn. I've been around a lot of different places the way back. Most recently, I was doing like my bento boxes at Kitsune. So yeah, Tavernetta, did a stint there too. So
Great.
yeah, just kind of a journeyman. And
All
then
right.
I've been teaching with Culinary Quick Start for, I don't know, about
close to a year and a half, maybe
close
2
to a
years.
year and a half, but I've been volunteering with them for over 2.
That's amazing. What inspired you to get into volunteering in a program like this?
I think that just cooking it is one of the most fundamental skills that really separates us from the rest of the animals, really. Being able to transform food and to elevate it into an art form, I think, is something that people need to learn, and it's really a very easy way to give to other people is by just cooking for them, taking care of them. So, and also just like a very important survival kind of thing too. Like people should just know how to cook. Your life's going to be way more enriched if you're around better food.
Okay. You're Vietnamese?
I'm Chinese.
You're Chinese. Yeah. Okay. Do you cook? So you did the bento boxes. So was that Chinese influenced?
I know I'm a Japanophile, but I cook a lot of Chinese dishes within that medium of the bento box.
Okay.
I do cook a fair amount of Chinese, but probably just more at home.
Got it.
Honestly, I probably cook more like Italian food than anything else.
Right.
But
Well,
that's just the way it shakes out here
The
in Denver.
Italians got some noodles from the Chinese way back in the day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love just cooking everything.
Yeah.
Though. If I'd love to learn how to cook some Indian food.
Yeah.
So
I know a guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's one of the cuisines I personally know the least about.
Yeah.
I'd say. Yeah.
It's one of my favorite. I grew up in the Northeast, and we have a lot of Italian restaurants, we have a lot of Greek restaurants, and we have a lot of Indian restaurants.
Sure.
And just all the travel back and forth. We have a lot of colleges and universities in Massachusetts, so all the students that would come in and they, miss their cuisine from home and start opening up restaurants, and it was a pretty thriving scene there. So, and Indian food actually. Not too dissimilar from Puerto Rican, rice and beans, and they stew their meats and stuff like that. So naturally, I gravitated towards that. And David and I were talking a little bit about the fact that with samosas, you can kind of stuff them with different things,
Sure.
and this idea of like translational food. Like, okay, I don't know what a samosa is, but it's got sausage and peppers in it, and it's got or bacon, egg, and cheese, or whatever in it. Do you think about food that way? Like, how do you, you have somebody that's curious about Vietnamese food. Like, how do you get them to try it?
That's a really good question. I think, just an open mind, but, some people have particular aversions to, particular meats, particular parts of particular meats, you know? So, I think just education, that's it, is just understanding that, hey, you're eating all the things that essentially go into a hot dog. Well, wouldn't you just eat them all separately? Like
Very true.
It's kind of the same. It's all the same thing. It just looks different. But I mean, like a samosa, you could, it's like a fried pierogi almost.
Right.
It's like there's kind of like analogs or just similar dishes that kind of show up in every culture, and whether or not that's anthropological. It's all just different names for the same kind of food.
Did you go to Hanoi when you were?
Yes, I've been on there, yeah.
They say that's one of the best food cities in the entire world, especially for street food and stuff like that.
Street food, yeah. I mean, Vietnam in general,
Yeah.
like incredible street food.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to go, Saigon or Ho Chi Minh City all the way up to Hanoi and then back down to Phu Quoc, which is an island where a lot of our fish sauces get made.
Okay.
So that was a great tour. And all the best food is super cheap and readily available on the street, like pretty much any time of day. So
Awesome.
it is really an eater's paradise because you'll get off the bus, and there'll be a crocodile just on a grill.
That sounds good. I'm in for that. A little more background on the pho. So you said when it originally started, it's a Chinese dish being cooked in Vietnam.
It's Chinese cooks that made the original dish.
Okay.
So there's a big subpopulation of Chinese people in Vietnam, just because they share a border.
Yeah.
So and Hanoi is going to be closer to that border with China. So it's likely Chinese cooks trying to find a way to make a delicious, nutritious broth with literal scraps that were left for them. So it is a stock just made out of mainly bone,
Okay.
and the tiny cuts of meat that are kind of left over. So I like tripe in mine. I like the meatballs, and then just tiny cuts of like other offcuts like tendon, stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, really cool. Blake, do you guys get into are these history lessons for your students as well? I mean, food is rooted in history.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we love to answer any questions that come our way, especially like food questions and the origins of things. But I think that food history is just an amazing, very vast concept that we can talk about, and I think it's really important to know where your food does come from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I studied history in college, so
Me too, history. So that's why.
It's fascinating to me. I just love kind of finding out where it comes from, and I think if you have that cultural understanding and the historical context of how this dish came to be, you just have a lot better understanding of like where it can go or where you want to take it and apply it to the product that we have like here in Colorado. So I think that's what we need to do, like as Coloradans and like as a Denver community, is like really find our own voice and kind of accent what's like local here.
Right. I think that's super important too. I asked this because we had Adrian Miller, the great author, soul food scholar. He's got his new book, Black Smoke, coming out, and he was a guest last Wednesday on the show. And I asked him a question, and I'm going to ask you the same question, Marcus. What is the food that you cook tell us about, where you're from and your culture?
Well, I think it's fundamentally American, and I think that's really the beauty of American food is that it is a literal melting pot of just cultures and experiences. And I mean, I'm a first-generation American myself, so everybody's experience is going to be absolutely different, and so I think it really is part of your identity as a chef, and being able to share that is really important as well. I don't know. Did I answer the question?
That's a great. No, it's great. Where are you from?
I was born in the Bay Area.
Okay, cool.
And then I've lived half my life kind of abroad, and then here in Colorado.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
Blake,
Sir.
tell me what's going on over here.
So so this is like one of my favorite lessons that I like to teach about stock making and why the importance of utilizing waste product to turn into something that we can actually turn into dollar signs, right?
Right.
So we tell them whatever goes in your trash can has already been paid for. So you want to try and eliminate as much waste as you can by turning it into something else. So what I've done is created a really nice stock, right? And then I let it cook down. I added a whole bunch of really nice ingredients to it to make this chicken pho broth. I let it cook for about 12 hours. Reduced down massively, and now I think we got something really nice and flavorful to make you guys a really great dish today.
Yeah,
What'd you season it with?
You can really smell it. It's delicious, the onions.
I was peeking over his shoulder. There's something incredibly relaxing to me by watching a really good chef cut vegetables, especially on a day like today where my
Marcus
brain's
is looking
working a
for
little
an
slow.
intern. So
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
yeah, that's the thing. I love all the fresh herbs and stuff like that kind of go into pho.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And in the wintertime, man, I ramp up my pho intake.
I mean, my fiance and I, like a night like tonight, probably. Honestly, a little tired, big day, cold outside. I guarantee you, if I said pho, that's where we're going.
Yeah.
Like it's the best. It's
So yummy. Awesome. Did you guys watch the Super Bowl yesterday?
I missed it. I
missed
was
it.
traveling.
You missed the game. Yeah, it was. This was supposed to be our hangover special today, and this is going to be much needed. We're pretty excited about. We're pretty excited about this. So,
Well, hopefully we can get you guys set straight.
yeah, David, what do you think? You don't have a.
Looks great. I'm excited for some fun.
Yeah, amazing. This stock is like really like intense.
Juan, how common is it to have a dish like pho, where it goes from the north to the south, like the whole country is covered with kind of one dish? How common is that?
I don't know the answer to that question. I mean, like if you go like, if you look at the cuisines that we cook in our places, like Ashkara, for example, I mean, that's just tribal food, I mean, there were nomads that were going around the areas, and there's African influence and Palestinian influence and, Israeli influence and all that type of stuff. So, I mean, all these, and Marcus was just, kind of educating us a little bit on the fact that, the French had a really big influence in Vietnam. And so some French technique, and David was talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
So all this stuff, I don't know if it's like north-south so much as it is just a mishmash of, through history. If you think about history, right, you think about like, this country came in and occupied another country and put some of their, So India had influence from England, and
What's up?
now
Okay.
has influenced
This is super fun.
British food more than anything. You go to London's got like the best curry in the world. So yeah, so I think it's more like that.
Okay.
So and if you're in Italy, you don't necessarily have a ton of red saucy pastas in northern Italy, right? I mean, it's like more like a southern Italian thing, and they didn't really even have tomatoes. If you look at a bolognese sauce, right, Marcus, carrots, right? For the most part, that's where it kind of gets.
Yeah, I think what people get wrong about bolognese is that it's not a tomato sauce; it's a meat sauce.
It's a meat sauce, right?
So, yeah, that cultural understanding, I think, is like one of the most, I think, important things about understanding and appreciating cuisine, but also just just how geography plays into it as well, and then cultural mores and understandings, and you can learn a lot about a culture just by what they eat and what they produce and how
I think
they
a ton,
live.
and it brings people together to have the conversation too.
It sure does.
That's the big thing.
That's the greatest thing.
Do you ever
about
go to pho spot?
Me?
Yeah.
Fun 95.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, that's for me. The girl that I date occasionally, I should say, is Vietnamese. So,
Okay.
Yeah. Vietnamese and French. ironically.
There's this place called Pho King Rapidos.
Okay, where's that?
Pho King Rapidos.
Oh, that's my boy.
It's a new food truck that just opened up.
That's my boy Long.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Long. He used to work as the
Tavernetta.
As the manager at Tavernetta, but also used to work in New York City at a fine dining
Awesome.
Italian restaurant. He has a new concept called Pho King Rapidos. You can find it at night markets too.
Huh, nice.
Shout out to Long.
All right. Let me see what we got here.
Yeah, so we just garnished it with all these fresh herbs here, the culantro, basil. I like a little mung bean sprout for texture. I can eat this stuff like popcorn. And then just some of the meat from that leg pick from the chicken.
Super simple, but like, you smell all the herbs coming out of there.
Yeah.
Really
What kind
good,
of
bro.
spices
No,
did
it's
you put in there?
incredible, yeah.
I toasted up a whole bunch of anise, a little bit of clove, tiny bit of fennel seed in there, lots of onion, heavy on the onion.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, salt,
I mean,
pepper.
this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Get some-
It's incredible.
You know?
You got chopsticks?
Yeah, we got to get some utensils, some tools to get into this.